Golf course, no report tonight. Library, Miss Carrie Rarrett.
I don't have a lot to report. I was looking at our statistics for October this year versus last year. Things are a little bit lower than I would have expected. I have a feeling that's a lot to do with the fence around the building. And we were listed as temporarily closed on Google for a few days. So I'm gonna work with Brenna and Gary and people around town, see if we can get a banner that says we're open, and maybe we can get our normal numbers while we're under construction. But other than that, I don't have a lot. Do you guys have
I
anything
bet
for
we
me?
can find a banner.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Parks Cemetery, no report. Police Department? No report. No report. Thank you, James. Recreation Center? Ms. Jessica Long.
We don't have a lot. I just wanted to mention that the Boys and Girls Club, I think you guys voted on that. Gosh, it's been a long time ago. But the floor is going down this week. So we're about 75% done, and it looks amazing, and the kids are really excited, and it looks really good. Rose is very grateful. So that should be completed tomorrow, and I'll get some pictures on Facebook. And then we've had a couple of little things. We had a Dodgeball Tournament this weekend, which is something we hadn't done in a long, long time, and invited the new dealerships in town, and we ended up having 7 teams, but we got people in the rec that didn't even know the rec existed. So we felt like that was a big win. We didn't make a lot of money, but we were able to kind of offer a community event, and they're already asking for the next one. So I thought council would want to put in a team. You guys. A dodgeball team.
That'd be a good target.
Yeah, might need an ambulance
Yeah.
posted out front.
There were some, yeah, even spectators were dodging. It was a little much, but it was fun. It was a good time. And so we're just kind of focused on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we're already working on something to kick off the new year, and then an open house in January after we get the new equipment in, and a lot of events in February and March. So we have a lot of exciting things coming, some new classes, and so we'll unveil everything when it gets closer to the new year.
Thank you very much. Street Department, Buddy Glenn's not able to be here tonight. He said that maybe Mr. Powell, who's here, could verify that our overlay project is kind of winding down. He said they were kind of maybe trying to finish up. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't say they're trying to finish up, but they're making great progress. We had kind of a hiccup at the very beginning of the project with some coordination issue, but we got that worked out, and I've been very pleased. We've been very pleased with the progress that they're making. When they mill off a street, they pave it immediately. They've got their crews together, so we're not having any of those callbacks about roads that are closed for any length of time. They're beginning one of our drainage improvement portions at an intersection on South Row. Overlay quick in and out project, but so I hope the motoring public will bear with them as they kind of tear up some lanes around there. But hopefully we'll get rid of the standing water in the intersection when we get done with this.
Very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll move to item 4, Mayor. And 3 off of the addendum at this time. We have with us tonight some folks from CMS Willowbrook, Mr. Gary Roseborough, Ms. Glenna Wells. You can come to the microphone, and they're here to give us just kind of a short little update. So I appreciate y'all being here. Fire away.
Schedule's going pretty good. We've had a lot of rain, a lot of weather. That always slows us down to a little bit. Still paving going on. One big thing is we'll be doing the concrete curb and gutter work along Main Street over Christmas break of school. Just a whole lot of work right now. Any questions?
I do. Sure. One of the things we approved when we approved the project was in the libraries, the libraries getting this thing, contingency. I haven't heard anything about contingency funds. We approved about $500,000 in contingency. Have we spent any of that contingency, and if so, on what, and how much is left?
Yes, we have spent a fair portion of it. We have about 180 left.
Of the 500,000?
Yes. A big portion of that was the roofing. We didn't get any bids on bid day for the roof on either building. So, we had to make our best guess on what it would cost. And we got a price after we went to contract. It was about 300 grand over what we estimated, and that was mainly from metal roof, or metal price increases between the time. That's what I've heard from my, I've recently took over the last couple of months, but, that's my understanding. There have been some, what else? We've changed,
I don't want to, can we get a report on that sometime, and just, can we get a
Sure.
report, show how much what we spent and where we done, where that money went, and let us know, because, you know,
Sure.
500, you got a long ways to go, and if you only got 180,000 left, you don't have a whole lot left.
oh, I know.
You're
Yeah.
not telling us nothing we don't know.
I was gonna say, and that's a little, you know, a little iffy, so that's with prices and stuff.
We've also had some credits back to the
I-
contingency fund
yeah.
as time's gone by,
Yeah, but
so.
it'd be nice to have a report of that, see what that, if you
We
heard.
can give you anything you want.
But I like
If
to,
the mayor says it's okay.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd like to say, we'd like to see that. I know I would, I don't know if the rest of the council wouldn't. I wanna see, we wanna make sure that everything's going right, funding wise, and everything else is good, because
No,
we're
we
proud
don't
of that
like to
building.
use any of it until the end of the job.
I understand.
We can give it back to you, but with the way Steve just had the bid,
I understand, I'm not blaming anybody, that's just one, cause I'm kinda
yeah.
nerdy, and when it comes to funding and monies and stuff like that, everybody knows that, and how I am,
Very good.
okay?
Any other questions? Thank you all for the report.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Item 3 on the addendum, discussion and possible action regarding hiring Taylor Boardwine to fill vacant patrol position at the Pryor Creek Police Department, Range J, Step 2, annual wage $43,561. Boardwine is CLEAT certified. This action is pending approval by the Oklahoma Police Pension and Retirement System. This position was left vacant by retirement of Doug Barham. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second. Is he
Motion.
here tonight?
Motion Ketcher, second Chitwood. Mr. Boardwine is not here tonight?
No, sir, he's at work.
Very good, very good. Any discussion? Very good. Call for vote.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Back to item 4, number A, discussion possible action regarding removing from the table item 6I from the November 2nd, 2021 council meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Smith. Discussion? Call for vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item B, discussion possible action regarding an on-call service for street patch with Dunham Asphalt while they are in town for the 2021 street rehabilitation project. This expense is estimated to cost $32,000 to spend from street asphalt overlay account 141455410. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion Smith,
Second.
second Nance.
I have a question okay? And it has to do with with ordinance number 2006-15 dated 9/19 in our code book. It says bidding when required, no public contracts for the purchase of equipment, vehicles, or any other fixed assets or improvements to property, whether real or personal, which purchases in excess of $2,500 or any other purchase that the mayor or in his absence, the appropriate committee chairman, feels the necessity to bid shall be purchased until there has been a solicitation for competitive quotations on prices. The city council should authorize the purchase, the city council shall authorize the purchase, decline to approve the purchase or request new quotations or bids. However, the $2,500 quotation requirement may be waived by the council if the council determines that the same way prudent to do so. So that, it's gotta be prudent to do so. My point is, this is a great price, and I think that we would have to, if we don't wanna follow the bid requirements, we'd have to put something in the motion.
Best interest.
That's what we would have to do, am I correct?
Yeah, that'd be the appropriate thing,
Yeah, so,
best interest of the city.
yeah, because it's a good price, so other than that, you know, I wanna make sure we don't get in a habit of doing that, but I do know that this is a good price out there, so.
Council, can we amend this motion and add those words?
Whoever made it, you'll amend, and then your second.
Okay, Shropshire, Steve, I'm sorry.
So I didn't hear what you said totally.
That it's in the best interest of the city.
In the best interest, okay, I'll change my motion to be in the
Am I correct in that assumption, Kim?
I believe so.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Council Trammell. Other discussion? Call for vote?
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes,
Thompson,
Yes.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes. Motion carries. We can go to item 2 on the addendum, and that is our city attorney's report item.
No report.
No report. The item 2, discussion possible action regarding accepting or denying an appeal by Clifford Wofford, declaring 1104 Southeast 14th Street dilapidated property and proceeding with abatement dilapidation process as per City Code 4-4-8A5 nuisance abatement.
Mr. Mayor, before we start the hearing, so that we can get council's decision, and I'm going to allow Mr. Wofford to speak as well. Wait just a second. So, the notice on this dilapidation proceeding was issued March 17th of 2021. There have been some prior violations over there, but they were not this dilapidation proceeding. So just so that you know, we've got records, July of 2017, there was a high weeds and grass issue. Apparently that was resolved somehow, because we never had anything after that. There were a couple of other complaints. One of those was in October of 17. Again, that had to do with an alleged working on vehicles at the home and weeds and grass. In September of 20, there was a complaint that parts of the building had burned. December of 20 is when Officer Humphrey began getting information to compile his report. January of 21, so January of this year, we completed the title research on the property because it was unresolved, and dilapidation proceedings were going to be started, so January of this year. Later that same month, the title search was completed. And then we issued the notice March 17, 2021. The first hearing was held April the 15th of 2021. The hearing was held April 15, 2021. Mr. Wofford appeared. We continued that hearing a few times at his request. Mr. Wofford indicated that he had a contractor that he was working with through his tribe, and he can correct me on any of this whenever it's your turn. But he'd been working with a contractor through his tribe to try to get the house restored and refurbed. And that the contractor had had a lot of trouble through COVID, and their schedule was very backed up. And so that continued, each time we had the hearing, that was basically a delay. Finally, in this last hearing, I don't have the date of that in front of me, I think it was the beginning of November. Dilapidation, was that what it was? well as to Cheryl. So, this is Cheryl's file on the thing. And she printed out an email, which I sent her and Mr. Walford, both of them, on November the 9th. It was addressed to Mr. Walford and copied to Cheryl. It says, Mr. Walford, this email will confirm the discussion we had by telephone, same date, November the 9th, regarding your property in Pryor that was found to be dilapidated at the last abatement hearing. Number one, at the hearing, your property was found to be dilapidated and ordered to be abated, and time periods were set for that. Two, you have filed an appeal. You filed it by that time. So you have filed an appeal of that decision by the hearing officer. The matter is now set for appeal to occur in front of the city council at the next city council meeting. Number three, you had already obtained a remodel permit for the property. That was actually mistaken. He had applied for it, and then he paid for it last Wednesday.
Yeah, it was.
So he hadn't actually received the permit. He had made an application for it, and then he paid for that permit last week. Number four, you have reported at a few prior hearings on this that you were working with a contractor to get the house restored and remodeled, but your contractor had delays from COVID. That has resulted in the city giving you more time each time until this last hearing, when the hearing officer made the decision to go ahead with the abatement order. Number five, you attempted to contact me on November the 8th, 2021, and I returned your call today, November the 9th, 2021, regarding all this. Number six, you advised me that your contractor was lined up to go in and start working on the home now. Seven, you advised me that the city, Cheryl, had advised you not to allow your contractor to go in and start working on the home until after the city held your appeal hearing. Point of confusion, maybe. I'll reread that. Number seven, talking to Mr. Walford. You advised me, so he advised me, that the city, Cheryl, had advised you not to allow your contractor to go in and start working on the home until after the city held your appeal hearing. 8, I spoke to Cheryl and I spoke to you on November the 9th, and I advised both of you that the city cannot and will not tell you or your contractor not to go in and start working on the home now if you desire to do that. However, any work done on the home at this time will be at your own risk of council affirming the hearing officer decision and continuing in the order to demolish the home. Number 9, I've advised you that if you get your contractor in now and get started refurbishing the home and remodeling it now, that my recommendation to the city council at the time of your appeal hearing will be to give you the opportunity to perform and finish the work. If you get your contractor in now and start this work, my recommendation to the council will be to set aside the hearing officer's order regarding the dates for commencement and completion of demolition to be reviewed by them, council, in a given period of time that is reasonable for you and for the city to revisit the matter on status of completion of your refurbishing and remodel work on the home. We would leave in place the finding of dilapidation pending further review at that later date. My recommendation would be that if you get the house refurbished, remodeled, then the council should sustain your appeal and find the house not to be dilapidated and close the file on this matter. Number 10, understand that council does not have to follow my recommendation, and it could deny my recommendation and affirm the hearing officer's decision at this upcoming appeal hearing and proceed with demolition as previously ordered by the hearing officer. If that happened, any money you spent on the house between now and then, the appeal hearing date, would be lost. Any questions about anything that I just...
Where does the permit fall in there?
Before you
Because-
can do the refurbishing or remodeling or fixing, you've got to have the permit issued.
But
So you got-
basically, what you were saying, though, he's gonna start before he's got the permit, because he doesn't have it in hand now.
Well, I mean, that's how it's played out.
Right.
I mean, November the 9th, I said, you gotta have your permit, get in there, get it paid for, Cheryl will issue the permit, and, get your people in there, and if they're working on it, then I'm gonna recommend to the council that we not rescind the order of dilapidation, but that we rescind the dates, and that we put it out at some reasonable time in the future, so that we can review it, review the appeal, and if he's got it done, well then, fine, we'll close the file on it. But if he hasn't got it done, well then the council would have to make a decision on what to do at that point. Are there any other questions on that?
So he's already started some work?
I don't know. I don't go out and look at these things. So with you having that information, I'd like to give Mr. Walford the opportunity to explain where he's at, what he's wanting to do. And then based on what he has to say about that, if you guys want to hear further on it, Zach is here, he's our hearing officer, he can speak on it, we've got photos and.
Council, do we need to, move to enter public hearing? Entertain a motion to enter
I'll
public
make
hearing.
that motion.
Second.
Motion Thompson, second Ketcher. Call for vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Chipwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Motion carries. We are in public hearing. Thank you, Mr. Ritchie, for coaching us up to speed on that. Mr. Walford, would you like to speak, sir?
Yes, sir. Good evening, council. Thank you for hearing my appeal. At this point, I do have contractors lined up. Actually, I have two different contractors lined up. I'm a tribal council rep for my tribe. I've been seated there for 19 years for the United Kituwa Band. And we have a business there called Kituwa Construction. So I brought them on board. They had it all set up. I've got letters right here, also photos. They had it all planned out, and COVID hit them pretty hard, and it took the manager down and the CEO, and it's all in the letters right there, and that just delayed things. And to this point, they got behind on their work when they finally recovered. They were difficult in hiring people back during this COVID. Now they're back at 100%. They got a letter stating that they'll get in there as soon as they can. In fact, I got another contractor too hired, so I've got some, backup, so we can get this thing done a lot quicker.
His letter's here, one's dated June 15. That was from, to Cheryl Lau. There's one here that's from the contractor, says estimated start time to begin repairs August 29, no later than February 25, 2022. Mr. Doyle, are you privy to these letters? Sure.
Have you started? Have you started?
Yeah, we got the demo done. We got it all cleaned up. We installed a window. But like I said, I was confused on, getting in there at a certain time because, I called down here and they said, no, you can't get in there. And Mr. Ritchie wrote a letter back and says, yes, you can get in there. And, at my own risk at that point. But we've been doing demo in there and it's all cleaned up. I got photos. If you'd like to see them.
So the fire was May of 2018. COVID kind of hit, February of 2020? So between May of 2018 and
Yeah.
February 2020, why didn't you do anything then?
I was going through a divorce on that property and it really was up in the air on if I was going to get it or not. And said it's,
So do you receive the property?
Yeah.
When was it awarded to you?
I'll have to look at that. Yeah,
So there's the whole year of 2019.
yeah.
How long was it in litigation? Guess. Estimate. What's your guesstimation
on the,
that it was in litigation between you and your ex?
it was probably about a year and a half or so.
I think what they're trying to understand is when was your divorce decree finalized? That would have been the document that distributed the property.
Probably, I think September 2019 or something like that, And-
Fall of 19.
Yeah, and, I was gonna get started earlier, but I came down with COVID too, March when it first started hitting, I had COVID also. And just recently, about 2 months ago, I did come down with a slight case of it also.
Mr. Doyle, do you have any comments?
The only one I don't see here, and I don't recognize is this one. Let me double check. That's one I don't,
Yeah, that's one of that's from my
the rest
contractors.
are
These two, or is this one?
either
Yeah,
one.
my two contractors sent letters saying, here, we can start this day, and I got one that can start tomorrow, we need two.
I haven't seen these either.
When did
I just
you,
want that opportunity.
when did you get your permit?
Last week, yeah.
So could they not have started did they not start last week when you received your permit?
Well, it was kind of confusing because I didn't know if I could get in there, because I called down here and she told me I couldn't get in there until after this hearing.
He bought the permit on the 10th, paid for the permit on the 10th, which was last Wednesday, and he was advised not to go in and start working until after this hearing.
And I've been in there doing a lot of labor work myself, and I've done quite a bit, and I've got the photos there.
Can I ask Mr. Doyle a question? When was the first time that we issued any type of letter for dilapidation, clean up the property, or whatever it was,
January
of
21.
21?
For this particular case,
I was gonna say, that, yeah, okay, but,
this particular case,
Let's make sure that legally we're on the same page. This particular case is what you've got to
okay,
decide.
okay,
So past history doesn't matter.
okay.
He was given notice of the dilapidation proceeding January of 2021.
Okay, all right. So, I do know the city had to clean it up, so, but anyway, okay.
Sir, do you happen to have any pictures of the work that you've done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're coming, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And by me doing the work myself too, I've saved some money there, and, said, even the contractors told me, they said, hey, this is completely different, it's not as bad as we thought it was. So, appreciate your,
So can I ask why you didn't apply for a permit sooner? If we sent you notice in January and you knew you were going to do the work, why
Well,
didn't you request for,
yeah, my contractors, they were negotiating the price, and, then, like I said, they didn't get back to me in time, they had COVID, and they put everything off, and, I was waiting on them, I didn't wanna get rid of them, just because they had COVID, I didn't wanna fire them and try to get somebody else, because it wouldn't be right, just because their whole operation was shut down, and, they do have medical documentation regarding that also.
And this is a UKB company?
Yes, sir.
Is the UKB paying for it?
No, I'm just using our construction company. The money goes back to the tribe and goes to programs.
I can't speak on UKB, but I know Cherokee Nation has had a lot of its departments closed or slowed down a lot, not having a lot of interaction with the public, so.
Yeah, our offices are still closed to the public.
Do you have any?
Yeah, we're such a small tribe that, we're trying to take care of our people, we got less than 15,000 members.
Zach, when's the last time you've been in there?
in the house, I sort of go into that. So what I get is, I get daily photographs. So when the
Oh, okay.
But he gives me literally an hour or so before the hearing, I get a fresh picture.
Okay.
I've got some fresh, if you don't see my phone, I got some fresh ones today.
So what kind of assurances do you have, or can you give the council that the UKB is gonna fund this project?
Oh, I don't know, I'm gonna fund it myself, I'm just gonna use my organization there, we have the construction company. And, I've got a letter there that was sent here that they said they'd be in.
But you don't know what the cost of that is at this point in time. Do you have a cost estimate?
Yeah,
I think the matter is when.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
can you get it started?
yeah, okay.
I mean, I'll get it done, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity. I wanna put this behind us and, go forward.
Your letter said that estimated they could get it done by February of '22.
See, that was an older one,
Okay.
an older
Yeah,
letter.
it had a start date
But
of
I can get-
August with an end date of February.
And they haven't even started, so.
Those are old letters there.
Those are all letters.
Yeah, those are.
We've got one here that says Wednesday, December the 1st.
Of '21,
Yeah, that's one that,
right.
which is, like I said, counting the holiday, only 6-7 days away from here. But the other contractor, they can get it anytime, like tomorrow.
And you have paid for a permit.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Doyle is our abatement officer. Do you have any comment about this, Zach?
If you'd allow, 2 minutes,
Please.
I'll come up. All right. So thank you guys for a few minutes. I wanna just let you guys know what criteria was used to declare the dilapidation. And this is a copy of a letter that was sent out via certified mail. Make sure I get the right form of mail, because that's certified mail to Mr. Wolford, just after this last hearing. It's dated October 21st. So this is the one from October 21st. In this, when we send this out, we do this on all of our hearings, every one we have where we declare dilapidation or any communication with them. Cheryl sends this letter out, and I'll just kind of walk it up here real quick and let you see how the form is. It's kind of a form letter that we use, that Mr. Ritchie came up with. And on the bottom here, there's several bullet points, okay? And so, sorry, I only get to show it to half of you. So, this is our form. We sign it, rubber stamp it, but we sign it. And it's there, and it gives the individual, it's the agreed and stipulated agreement as to the dilapidation, the findings that are being contested in the matter, and what we use to declare that dilapidation, right? So in this one, it was marked that the structure, through neglect or injury, lacks necessary repairs or otherwise is in a state of decay or partial ruin to such an extent that the structure is a hazard to the health, safety, and welfare of the general public. Keep in mind that also includes the property values of the homes around them, the neighbors, the safety, the rodents, things like that. So we're not just talking about going in and putting in windows, it's the community. The structure is unfit for human occupancy due to lack of necessary repairs and is considered uninhabitable or is a hazard to the health, safety, welfare of the general public. Also marked is that the structure creates a fire hazard, which is dangerous to other properties. And lastly, marked on this one is that the condition of the property constitutes a detriment or a hazard to the property, and the property would be benefited by the removal of such debris left from demolition. Okay, so it's not just, we don't like your house. There are statutory requirements that we have to meet when we make these decisions. And so as we go through this, things that we keep in mind. And so as we've gone through, we've been really detailed with all of the homes that we do, and we want to be fair to everybody. We're going to give somebody a chance, we give the next person a chance. You work with us, we work with you. That's how I operate this, okay? What we've encountered is request for extension, request for extension, request for extension. And I have those all written down. If you want those actual dates, we can provide those from 45 days to 90 days to 120 days, each with a commitment, a verbal commitment from Mr. Wolford to do the things that he has agreed to do to work with us. For example, provide this report, provide engineer's report, and then we come back with an extension. We need an extension. And so at the point that we're talking about this particular case, we have to keep in mind the health, the safety, welfare of the community. We can't keep extending without progress. And I think, Yolanda, you asked about the permit. Why did we wait so long to get a permit? So I don't have an answer to that. But the house did catch on fire in 2018. And as we look at this, keeping in mind that it's this particular hearing, part of that dilapidation is that it has caused past issues with the community. Squatters, rodents, theft, things like that, where people are taking things from that property. All of that goes into this decision. And so just like with everybody else, we work, but when there's no progress, then we have to make a decision. We can't just extend until we decide it's time to work. And so based on those items, that it's unfit for occupancy, I don't think it's had utilities since the fire. And that alone is, pretty big issue. The house is not inhabitable and work has not been done. We also have received letters from Mr. Wolford's attorney requesting extensions or based on issues such as McGirt, things like that. This is not a criminal case. This is a civil case, so we're going to move on with that. I respect your decision. I want you to make an educated decision. If you have questions, we have the file here. It's pretty transparent. And the email that Mr. Ritchie read earlier, I was not privy to that. I was not copied on that, but I do agree with what's on there. So it is what it is. But basically the decision was made because I haven't talked this much in a long time. I'm sorry, I'm winded. But the decision was based on the condition of the home as it is right now, the lack of work that's been done until just recently. And at that point, the work had not been done. So we had to make a decision to go ahead and start that process as we would with anybody else. 30 days to start the demolition process, 60 days it needs to be done. At that point, it comes to you guys for bids for us to do it. And so following suit, that's what we're doing. If Mr. Wolford can get your blessing, that's good for him. We'll give him a little more time. But I want you to also know the facts behind why that decision was made. That it definitely was not a personal attack. It's a process that we follow, and we've been, last time Cheryl and I talked, we've got over 90 properties that we've done this in the community, and so we follow a very laid out plan that Mr. Ritchie himself has created, and so that's our method to that. Any questions?
Zach does speak correctly in that they do follow the guidelines, and they're very fair and considerate about
Yes,
toward all those properties.
And also I might note that, the mayor sits in on some of these hearings. Mr. Ritchie sits on some of them. Officer Humphreys is at every one. Kenny is at the several, well, I don't think Kenny's missed one.
Kenny,
And so a lot of times those decisions are brought with information from their point of view, Mayor, does this decision suit your agenda? Does, and I probably shouldn't say agenda, that sounds, I apologize. That's not the word. I'll ask Kenny Young for his input on the things that he's seen, Officer Humphreys on the things that he's seen, and off of that, we take advice from Mr. Ritchie, and that's how the decisions are made. So it's not just Zach up here being rogue. It's a very detailed process that we follow.
When there is a fire, is a structural engineer ever brought in?
Yeah, so most of them, and we've had several in the last year where fires have been an issue, and they're pretty badly burned. I'll just put it that way. I'm not an engineer, but we do request, and we did with Mr. Wolford, request a structural engineer's report. We did get a report. It did not have letterhead on it. It did not have a seal. It was just a typed piece of paper. And we have in several of these where finances have been an issue and where they may not have been able to afford the engineer. We've kind of thrown them a bone, if you will, and allowed them to use Mr. Knox, who does some work for the city at times. And on one in particular, we even put a cap to the cost. So I want to paint that picture that we are really trying to help these people out. But there comes a point where we have to draw a line in the sand. And so when the health, the safety, and the welfare of the community is at risk, then I'm sworn to an oath on that to the state of Oklahoma. So I have to do that. I have to act on that. So.
And I think we are as well, being in that ward. I think I spoke to someone that lives on that street, and it's just, they've done nothing, and it's.
Called me several times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and we have to speak on their behalf as well.
Yep.
So,
I think it'd be good for you to know the hearing history on this. So the first hearing was April the 15th.
Of this year?
Yeah, all in 21. So April the 15th, then May the 20th. Then June 17,
July 29th.
July 29,
And July 28th is when we got the letter from his attorney for the day before. So we took that into.
September the 16th, and then finally October 21st.
And we did at one point also do, if you're looking at the dates on a calendar, you will see that there was a period that we went to every 2 weeks rather than monthly, just to keep the ball moving. So, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
I like to say,
Please, public hearing is still open.
you know, be that as it may, he's thinking, I'm the one that's gonna be doing the construction. It's not me. It's my contractors that weren't able to make it because of COVID. Just want to reemphasize that. It wasn't me that stopped them, If it was up to me, they would have been there working. Just kind of make that clear. It was COVID that stopped them. And the sickness of each one of their members. It's all in the letter there. So just wanted to reemphasize that. It wasn't me that did, stop this. It was my contractors. They couldn't make it. And there again, I didn't want to fire them because they're tribal members and they're sick. Yeah, if it was up to me, they'd been there. This thing would have been done already. Just wanted to reemphasize that. Thank you.
We're still in public hearing. Anybody else like to speak? Entertain a motion to close public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thompson, second. Ketcher, call for vote.
Chitwood,
Yes.
You need a motion.
Need a motion.
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
We had the motion.
We got one.
And we had the second.
Second.
yes, Thompson and Ketcher. Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Motion carries. I'll reread the item for action tonight. Discussion possible action regarding accepting or denying an appeal by Clifford Wofford regarding declaring 1104 Southeast 14th Street dilapidated property and proceeding with abatement dilapidated process as per City Code 4-4-8A5 nuisance abatement.
I would like to make a motion to deny the appeal by Clifford Wofford regarding declaring 1104 Southeast 14th Street dilapidated property and proceed with the abatement dilapidation process as per City Code 448A5 nuisance abatement. I'd like to make that a motion.
There's motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second Thompson. Discussion?
Well, so close to the holidays, I'm tempted to ask for just a few more days.
A few more days for what?
What, yeah.
To see if that crew shows up out there and start working.
We're down that road in Zach's done his due diligence.
I know, but like I said, the holidays made me a little soft, I guess.
Is this just a rental? Is this one of your, cause you live in Claremore, right?
Actually, it's gonna be going to my daughter. I'm just trying to fix it up for her this morning.
Well, my motion stands.
I don't have a
I will have
problem,
them in there. I will have them in there.
I don't have a problem with continuing with this since he's finally, and we're getting through some of this COVID stuff. I don't have a problem with going ahead and letting him try to do some repairs and then keep us updated on where he's at.
One of the things you gotta understand is like the neighbors out there, you know, you've got bugs, you got rats, you got people living, you know, and you got people trying to sell their properties over there that's for sale, and now's a good time to sell, and they can't sell their properties. I even had somebody tell me here a while back that they tried to get a reverse mortgage, and they looked at that, and it was actually the value of the property, couldn't get the reverse mortgage. So it's more than that. We've had plenty of time, you know. We can't, you know, we gotta look at not just one person, we gotta look at people as a whole, so. You know, that's what I'm saying, is so I'm gonna stand by my motion and see where we go with it. I think it's, but plenty of time.
Tonight was the COVID, like I said, it's,
COVID or not, there's been plenty of time to get done, in my opinion, so.
they were sick, they couldn't,
I
they
don't-
could work.
COVID, but there's other people that worked during COVID at that point in time, so.
Okay, there is a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Call for vote?
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
No.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
No.
Chitwood,
No.
Motion carries to deny, 4-3.
So based upon that hearing and findings, the order stands that demolition is to begin by November the 18th of 2021 and be completed by January the 20th of 2022.
Very good. Ms. Ritchie, anything else?
Nothing further.
Thank you. Item 6,
Yes, sir.
Right there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir?
discussion and possible action on consent agenda.
Just go ahead and step out, sir. That's
Yeah.
out of order. That's all right.
Item number 6, discussion and possible action on consent agenda. A, approve minutes of the November 2nd, 2021 council meeting. B, approve payroll purchase orders through November 26, 2021. C, approve claims for purchase orders through November 16, 2021. D, acknowledge receipt of deficient purchase orders. E, approve July appropriations request. F, discussion, possible action regarding approval of 2022 City of Pryor Creek holiday calendar. G, discussion, possible action regarding approval of the scheduled 2022 City of Pryor Creek council meetings. H, discussion, possible action regarding approval of scheduled 2022 City of Pryor Creek Budget Personnel Committee meetings. I, discussion, possible action regarding approval of scheduled 2022 City of Pryor Creek Street Committee meetings. J, discussion, possible action regarding approval of scheduled 2022 City of Pryor Creek Cemetery Board meetings. Park and Cemetery Board meetings. K, discussion, possible action regarding approval of the schedule of 2022 City of Pryor Creek Planning and Zoning Commission meetings. Item L, discussion, possible action regarding approval of schedule 2022 City of Pryor Creek Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustment Multi-Hazard Mitigation Committee meetings. M, discussion, possible action regarding approval of schedule 2022 City of Pryor Creek Recreation Center Board meetings. N, discussion, possible action regarding approval of schedule 2022 Library Board meetings. O, discussion, possible action regarding approval of schedule 2022 Ordinance Insurance Committee meetings. P, Discussion possible action regarding approval of schedule of 2022 floodplain board meetings. Q, discussion possible action regarding approval of schedule of 2022 hotel motel tax allocation board meetings. R, discussion possible action regarding approval of schedule of 2022 Economic Development Trust Authority meetings. S, discussion possible action regarding approval of schedule of 2022 personnel board meetings. T, acknowledge 2022 Municipal Utility Board holiday schedule. U, acknowledge 2022 Municipal Utility Board meeting schedule. V, discussion of possible action regarding an expenditure in the amount of $2,817 to Addendum for the renewal of the annual maintenance agreement for the live scan fingerprint machine at Pryor Creek Police Department from Police Technical Account or Technology Account 02-215-5260. W, discussion possible action regarding hiring Bryce Moore to volunteer firefighter position at the Pryor Creek Fire Department effective November 17, 2021. X, discussion possible action regarding the annual contracted wage paid from City of Pryor Creek to Johnny Jansen, Director of Mays County Emergency Management, be increased from $15,996 per year to $20,000 per year, retroactive to October 1st, 2021, from CEM Salaries Account 02-225-5011. This satisfies the new 2021-2022 fiscal year, October through September requirements of the $10,000 Emergency Management Performance Grant, which is awarded annually to the City of Pryor Creek. That is the consent agenda. Which items would council like to remove?
A.
Item A,
X.
W.
item X, item W. Are there others? Entertain a motion to approve all of those items except for A, W, and X. Motion Smith,
Second.
second Chitwood. Discussion? Call for vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item A, approve minutes of November 2nd, 2021 council meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Smith. Discussion? Call for vote.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Abstain.
Motion carries. Item W, discussion and possible action regarding hiring Bryce Moore to volunteer firefighter position at Pryor Creek Fire Department effective November 17, 2021. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion Ketcher, second Chitwood.
Bring him forward.
I told him he had to keep his speech to 5 minutes, but he's ready.
Awesome.
This is right.
Time.
One of our other guys, firemen, recommended him. I've heard nothing but good things for him. He's currently, or just got out. How long ago did you get out?
2 months ago.
2 months ago, so he's fresh.
Out of where?
Air Force, no.
Good for
I
you.
thought maybe Kevin had him. I thought maybe Kevin had him.
Yeah. No, we're excited.
Good.
Very good, very good. Mr. Moore, would you like to say anything?
No, I appreciate the opportunity for me to come up here. I
Very
really do.
good. What was your duty in the Air Force?
I was a HH-60G maintainer. I was a helicopter crew chief.
Good for you.
Good deal.
So I was in for about 6 years. I lived the whole combat search and rescue kind of lifestyle. So thought I want to get out and want to be a firefighter.
Very good. We're glad,
Great.
glad you want to be a firefighter in Pryor, Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
Sure enough. Other questions? Discussion? Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks very
sir.
much. Call for vote?
Shropshire,
Absolutely.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yep.
Motion carries. Welcome aboard. Yep, yeah. Item X, discussion and possible action regarding annual contracted wage paid from City of Pryor Creek to Johnny Jansen, Director of Mays County Emergency Management, be increased from $15,996 per year to $20,000 per year, retroactive to October 1st, 2021, from CEM Salaries Account 02-225-5011. This satisfies the new 2021-2022 fiscal year, October through September requirements of the $10,000. Emergency Management Performance Grant, which is awarded annually to City of Pryor Creek.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion Thompson, second Smith.
I brought this up because I need to abstain only, and I appreciate Johnny and Mike. I've worked with them for a long time and not had much this year, but I do appreciate these guys.
Question is, and it's just this is a me question, are we gonna make adjustments in the budget like we did for the, when we did the street department, you know, because this will affect the salaries line items, all the different cost codes and stuff like that, because I think we have to pay unemployment compensation, what is it called? There's all different.
This is he's contract labor, so,
Is that-
so that doesn't come into effect
Okay.
with this item.
Okay, good.
Any other questions, discussion? Call for vote?
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Abstain.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7, committee reports, budget personnel, Brakefield, defer to Shropshire.
December the 14th,
December 14,
5:30.
y'all come. Item B, ordinance insurance, Shropshire.
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Item C, street.
We'll probably have a meeting next week. We got some updates from Steve is gonna be presented, and possibly Buddy, so we'll probably have a meeting next week.
Tuesday next week.
Yep.
Thank you. Item 8, unforeseeable business, know of none.
Motion to adjourn.
Item 9 is adjourn, and Mr. Ketcher made a motion,
Second.
and Smith second. Call for vote?
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Motion carries. We'll call to order Pryor Public Works Authority. Item 2, approve minutes November 2nd, 2021.
Get motion?
Motion Smith.
Second.
Second Chitwood. Call for vote?
Chitwood,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yeah, I'm abstain. Approve minutes, right? Abstain.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3, unforeseeable business, there is none. Mr. Ketcher.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Second by Smith. Call for vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Hitcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yeah.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Kim, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Kevin
Motion
Trammell?
carries. We are adjourned.